Can I not get other go?
There we go. All right, welcome back to another episode of the P-Butt Podcast. And yes, I know what you're thinking. Austin T Gaming has a podcast. Yeah, I know. It's been a long time since I've done an episode of this with my buddy Sensei Wait, or as you all might know him now, Apex Gamer 2020. But it's been a while, unfortunately. But we're excited to finally do an episode once again. So, what's on your mind with all your recent things going on?
Some random crap. Just been working a lot. Getting some stuff done. I've been getting a lot of content out, and I've now got probably 2 months worth of videos backlogged. What do you mean you stole the pie? Nothing even happened.
Well, you gave me like 2 cents or something. That's pretty much all you gave me.
But nothing happened. Like,
you folded your deck. Quite literally, just folded your deck. So you just gave it to me.
I didn't mean to. How the hell
but you did. You did it.
I didn't even push any buttons.
Exactly. It auto made you fold.
It was just timed out.
Yeah.
I don't remember how to do this crap.
I thought you knew how to play poker, but I guess you don't.
Well, I know how to play 3-card poker on GTA.
Oh, yeah, that's great. But I guess we're in for the long haul here.
Alright, so...
But anyway...
No, dang it.
I wasn't intending on talking about poker today, but... and that's kind of how we're going to format this. Like, we're going to be doing things in the background, but mainly just talking about BS that's going on in our lives right now. Where we are mentally, because it's been a long time since we've did a podcast. So I figured, now would be a good time to do it, because, I feel like, reflecting on things is a bad idea. Because especially when you look back and you're not very, proud of, what you used to be. But when you can look back and be like, oh, wow, I've really changed a lot, In the past 3 years, Wayne, what do you feel like you've learned? Do you feel like overall, not like anything particularly specific, but what do you...
Basically, one of the biggest things I've learned is you can't trust anybody. Because, man, you could just have... I don't know, you could have your best friend stab you in the back at the moment's notice. People look for... You son of a bitch. Well, the thing is, you know how to play poker. I'm just kind of winging this and hoping I get lucky. But anyway, short, you could have people that back you up until they can make themselves feel better by knocking you down or something. I don't know. It's just people stab you in the back.
So the old adage of DTA, don't trust anybody.
Yeah, basically.
But me, right? You can trust me, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, you haven't given me a reason not to.
Yeah,
Oh, that's a good hand. That's a good hand, Austin. That's a good hand.
But yeah, I kind of look back at our last podcast, and I kind of cringe a lot, because for some reason I felt this overwhelming need to die on every hill that I deemed was worth dying on. And Ooh. I was so willing to just argue for no reason, just because I'm well, I'm right on this. And I've kind of realized that can be exhausting, and it's unnecessarily exhausting, and just I guess I've learned to kind of pick and choose what I choose to invest my energy on.
They win.
I won.
God dang it!
I really wasn't very confident in that match, by the way. I thought you had me.
Jeez, this sucks. I'm gonna burn up all my freaking money here.
You're only gonna lose $5.
Yeah, that's $5 whole.
And I'm gonna, by the way, you suck at focusing on the conversation at hand. You keep on getting distracted by the poker game.
A little bit, yeah. I'm easily distracted.
Okay, pop quiz. What did I just bring up?
I don't remember.
I
lost. I was looking at my cards.
I tried to pick something that would be easy for you to not get distracted on, but yet here you are. I'm distracted.
Just mention it again. I'll try not to get distracted.
The last podcast we did was about it wasn't Dying Light. It was about
Oh, you hate that game with a freaking passion.
I wanted to like it, but it didn't really vibe with me. What? No Man's Sky. I was so willing to
Oh, of course now we get the pair of threes and the freaking. Anyway, continue.
I'm gonna smack you. I really am. Like, okay, Austin, go ahead and try and say it now. This is why we don't. By the way, this is why we don't do podcasts anymore, because we can't keep a freaking conversation going. We don't talk. We just freaking play games and argue and fight. That's all we do.
No, it's not.
You don't even know what I just said.
We don't play. Oh, Austin, always stop.
See?
We argue and we fight and we don't always play the game. I pay attention. Selectively.
Only whenever I go off on you. You see, this is why we argue. Because, like, Austin, let's do a podcast together. Yeah, let's do a podcast. Yeah.
This is your idea.
It was my idea because it's been 3 years.
I gotta stop playing this freaking game.
We're not even 10 minutes in, and you can't keep a freaking conversation going. I mean, you are horrible at this.
Listen, I don't do podcasts very often, okay? I barely even stream.
This was your idea to begin with. Like,
wait, hey, no,
5 years. Yeah, today was. Yeah, today was. But years ago, 5 years ago, when we made the freaking thing, you're like, let's do a podcast, Austin.
Oh, bullshit.
Yeah.
Oh, that was totally your idea.
No.
Podcast. That was your idea.
No, I think it was your idea, but I came up with the name of the podcast, People Podcast. Tell me that is not catchy. Hey, welcome back to the People Podcast. Like, that would have been great if we could actually do a podcast, but we can't. But we can't. But we can't. We can't do a podcast, Bo. It's not a thing. We can't. We suck. We suck.
You suck.
We suck together, because.
All right, that's fair.
Yeah, fair enough. And you should win this hand, by the way. I have nothing.
Yeah, like I got anything?
Oh, now you heard that. You heard that. This is freaking poker.
You know what? I'm screw this. I'm going all in.
That's not all in. You just did max bet.
Whatever, same difference.
Not really.
Oh my god, I won $1 a night. Hey, what happened to my other 10 cents? I should have won $2.
It goes to
That tells me I win.
It goes to the house.
Screw the freaking house.
Well, without the house, we wouldn't have poker for you to lose at.
Shut up. Shut up. Burn in hell. I mean, any poker's really just a luck of the draw.
And that's all gambling, yeah.
Well, I suck at gambling. I went into a casino with $50, thought I was doing good, except I was $50 up, and before I cashed out, I ended up losing the entire 100.
I've always heard the saying is, don't go to a casino and expect to win. Like, pretty much take what you're willing to lose, because you're probably going to lose it. But...
Yeah, well, I mean, I could have cashed out, made a $50 profit, but there was a hot girl at the table, and I got distracted.
Oh, you got distracted. No, you don't get distracted ever.
No, I don't. I don't get distracted. Name one time I got distracted.
What were we talking about?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
You're yelling at me. Screw you. I'm planning on shooting you when we get out of here.
Okay, fine. You want to shoot me? Shoot me.
I'm gonna shoot
Do
you.
it. You'll probably forget how to shoot your gun by the time we get out there.
Shut up.
Okay, I'm gonna shoot you. I'm gonna shoot you. Any day now, I'm gonna shoot you.
Oh yeah, it's coming.
Hey, why am I shooting you again?
That I'll probably forget. I'll probably forget why I'm shooting you, but I know I gotta shoot you. I'll blow you off another bridge.
Oh, yeah.
Would you like to tell our wonderful viewers about your little bridge incident?
So, I got invited to play this game called, what, something Generation? New Generation or something?
Generation Zero.
Generation Zero, yeah. And as you can tell, I wasn't very confident in the game as it was, but he invited me, his friend, to play this game with him. And me, being the kind-hearted friend that I am, the giving friend that I am, I go out of my way to buy this game to play with him. Yeah. And we're crossing this nice little bridge next to these two nice little vehicles. And Wayne just so happened to see a propane tank inside one of those vehicles, and he shot it and it blew me off the bridge, killing me instantly. Oh, but it gets better. I die instantly, but I can revive myself. And I revived myself in the water, but I couldn't move out of the water. So I just stayed in the water and died.
It was freaking gold.
Which is just
fantastic.
fantastic.
I really wish I had gotten that on film.
which is just fantastic. I love being treated that way.
Well, you didn't form an opinion about the game when I asked you about it, so,
You didn't ask!
I'm not forming an official... Yes, I did!
But before you shot that propane tank, you did not ask.
I asked you 30 times before that. You're like, oh, I need more time. I need more time. I probably won't be today. I won't form an opinion today.
So the plot thickens. The plot thickens. The plot thickens. Not only had I not played the game long enough to form an opinion, you made my opinion less of a good one by blowing me up for no reason.
No. That is not the game's fault. The game is not responsible for my actions. You cannot blame that on the game. You cannot form a negative opinion on the game because I blew you up.
Oh, yes, I can.
I just, oh, hell yeah, look at this, look at me winning now. I got a full house.
Yeah, you don't even know what a full house is. What's a full house?
I don't know. But I got it.
It's a 3 of a kind and a pair. Get schooled, son.
Oh. Get schooled, I'm the one that got the full house, loser.
But you didn't even know what you had when you had it. You know you didn't know what you had.
I looked at the bottom left of the screen where it said I had it.
But you literally said earlier, let's hope that ace highs are better than a pair of fives. Like, you don't even know what these freaking hands... Like, that's like one of the worst hands you could have. Ace high.
I don't know. Frick. Yeah, well, I'm playing somebody else at their own game. Get me in a martial arts ring with you and I will freaking wreck you. I will cripple your pea butt.
Well, yeah. But who said I wanted? Who said I wanted to do that while filming our podcast?
Oh, you're not gonna have a choice. One of these days, somebody's gonna drug your drink, and then you're gonna wake up in an MMA ring, and I'm gonna be standing there all ready to whoop your ass.
But I don't drink.
No, I'm gonna put something in your water, like I don't know, like a chloroform or something.
I don't drink water.
Yes, you do. That's all you friggin' drink. You're diabetic. Tell me that.
I'm drinking Diet Mountain Dew right now, so you'd have a hard time spiking my Diet Mountain Dew.
I'd spike your Diet Mountain Dew.
I'm sure you would. Because that's what friends do, Wayne. That's exactly, what friends do.
See, now you're starting to learn.
Learn what?
Friends always spike their friends' Mountain Dew.
Oh, I freaking hate you.
I
hate your guts. That's like one of the rarest freaking things you could have is a pair of four of a kind.
4-8s?
Yeah, it's like freaking like impossible.
Woohoo!
Like I literally think like in the stats of like a Red Dead Redemption lore, I've never gotten a 4 of a kind ever.
Dang.
So seriously, go screw a freaking horse. Seriously. There's one right out there.
You know what? I might just cash out right here. I am 10 cents higher than what I came in here with.
You know, I'm half tempted to just let you do that.
I hope you guys enjoy this whole podcast that we do. We have a lot of fun making these.
Even though it's literally been 3 years, so it doesn't really seem like we like it very much, does it?
Well, somebody works all the fucking time and doesn't get on until 3 o'clock in the freaking morning when most normal people are sleeping.
Oopsie daisy.
Yeah, exactly. And then I had a pretty rough patch in life that we won't discuss publicly, but yeah.
We have a long road ahead of us, so what do you want to talk about? I mean, we don't have to talk about what it actually was, but I know you said something about, like, well, you can't trust anybody, but through that particular moment in your life, what do you feel like you learned the most, besides that?
I would have to say something along the lines of build assets. Build things that benefit you and get rid of everything that doesn't. Like, if you love something but it's not beneficial to you, just get rid of it. To me, love or relationships has come down to, like, an application process, okay? Like, if you want to date me, I'm going to ask a girl out. She might say yes or no. If she says yes, I'm going to be like, great, fill out this application. That's 10-question survey. And you get a copy of your birth certificate, social security card, and photo ID. And I'll get back to you in 7 to 10 business days. That's basically what dating for me has come down to. Because of the lack of trust, man. Like, you can't trust anybody. Or you got all these gold-digging tramps that are out there.
Yeah, and that's fair enough, too. But, I mean, if it comes down to that point where you would need all those things, then is it really worth it to go through all that just for what could end up being just a big old waste of time?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, why invest a lifetime into something that can end in the blink of an eye?
Exactly. And it's crazy to think that through most of my life, that was something that was like a primary thing for me. Like, anytime you'd ask me how I was doing, like I wasn't doing well, it was because I was stuck in my feelings for somebody and they weren't reciprocated. And
Yeah.
I guess it's just the second that I actually had a chance to have a relationship, I realized how much I didn't want it. Wait, hang on. I kind of lost my train of thought there.
Can't lose what you never had.
Yeah, I know. Like during that time, like I was like really bummed out that they weren't reciprocated feelings or whatever, and like it was making me sick. Like it actively made me sick. But yeah, it was like every time I would catch feelings for someone, it was a constant like reawakening of like really bad like why am I never enough kind of thoughts. And
Yeah.
yeah, it was just like one of those things.
Right. Like, that kind of goes along with what I was just saying. Like, you always wonder what the hell's wrong with you, but in reality, it's something wrong with them.
Oh, it's just a mixture of the two. Like sometimes just people don't vibe right, and sometimes you try so hard, like, oh no, we can do this. We like, and if you're fighting that hard to create something, then then maybe it's not worth creating because you're forcing it. You know.
I'm pretty much content with my career and in the medical world, and then my gaming and my music, and I'm content with what I got.
Yeah, it's like it's all about like finding peace within yourself, and I guess sometimes you can just kind of forget about that. Like sometimes that like, it blanks for you. Like what's the most important thing? Like your personal little bubble is sometimes the most important thing. Now, if you bring it,
think about it too is a lot of, not to interrupt you, but like people go through a lot of the emotions of a relationship. I don't really go through that anymore because of the medical stuff that I've done. Like I've been desensitized to a lot of emotions.
Oh yeah.
So if a girl leaves, it's like, okay, whatever, bitch, fuck you, see ya.
Yeah,
You don't know what you're throwing away, but you'll figure it out later. When you do, I won't be here, so go ahead. There's the door. Fuck off.
Yeah. And sometimes you gotta do that too. Sometimes you just gotta be like, okay, it's over. Like, be able to do that. Be able to just kind of let
the people
things.
I work with in EMS keep telling me that, oh, you're gonna have your day where you just fucking lose it all and you're gonna break down and cry. I'm like, no, I'm not. He's like, oh, all that crap you're holding in and dismissing. I'm like, exactly, I'm dismissing it, so it's no longer in my thoughts.
Right.
Got other guys that try to help me get a girlfriend, which is annoying in of itself. But like, oh, dude, you gotta grow out your hair. Girls like long hair. But why? Why would I have to change myself to make them happy? They should like me the way that I freaking am.
Right.
Oh, no girl likes a guy that plays video games. Oh, video games are for children. Okay, yeah, sure. Video games are for children and grown men that have a life outside of video games.
And you know what I'd say to that? I'd say, all right then, I guess dating's not for me.
Yeah, right.
I mean, if I had to stop what I'm doing to make them happy, then I guess that's not me then.
Just like I hate these relationships that you hear about, and the people are always like, oh, the wife won't let me. Oh, the wife this, the wife that. Like, the wife ain't gonna control me, dude. Like,
exactly.
She ain't gonna be like, oh, you can't go buy a new car, you can't have a PS5 game, or you can't. But no, that's my money that I worked for. As long as my bills and my family are supported, bitch, I'm gonna get a damn PS5 game.
Yeah, exactly.
Granted, if you're like really struggling with finances and you are generally struggling to make your bills, right? She's probably right. You probably shouldn't go out and buy a PS5 game, but
yeah, and
I'm not upset. I'm not depressed about relationships. I don't really give a rat's ass about it. I even started another like off-brand YouTube channel called Apex Food for Thought, which I thought about posting podcast stuff on.
Yeah.
But then a podcast isn't really a podcast if you're just talking to yourself,
Well, then it's just like it's at that point it just turns into fucking what is it? Just I mean, I do that. I mean, I do videos where like I talk about a certain subject, but I don't call it a podcast. I just call it like a
monologue.
No, it just depends on the context of the video. Just not everything has to be labeled as a podcast,
Yeah. I mean, there's podcasts, there's vlogs, there's blogs.
Yeah, it just depends on like what works for you. Like what, whether it's selfish or not, whether it's childish or not. If it works for you, then fuck the rest. I mean, like,
yeah, basically.
Like it's. I mean, like who? I don't know. I mean, I've kind of came a long way in the past few years myself, because I used to be more judgmental than what I am now. I mean, just some things.
Just like my mother and I, we came up to Planet Fitness the one time, and I started laughing about a heavy set person in the car on the treadmill. And I know you guys are gonna think horribly of me for this, but it's kind of the EMS humor in me. When this comes out, like I sat in the parking lot looking through the window as I parked in front of the building, and I saw this poor big dude just struggling on the treadmill. You wouldn't freaking believe. And I started laughing, and I did feel a little bit bad, but my mother was like, it's supposed to be a judgment free zone. I'm like, no, that starts when you get in the building. I'm in the parking lot.
Yeah, yeah, sure. I mean, you can be judgmental all you want, but I mean, it doesn't really serve me very well to do that. Like, I mean, I gotta sleep at night, and if like for some reason if I am rude to anybody in any sense, like I usually just kind of end up feeling like, oh, you asshole. Like, it's just it's like I guilt trip myself pretty bad. And I don't even have to do that, but I do it. And
I don't. But I don't treat people bad that don't deserve it. Like I treat people how they treat me, essentially. You know how the old adage goes, "Oh, treat others how you want to be treated." Well, I treat my attitude to that is I treat others how a majority of people treat me. If a majority of people treat me like shit, I'm gonna treat you like shit. Oh, that was a horse. That was not a deer. Oh crap! Austin, what did I do?
well, I thought you wanted to hunt.
I do. I thought that was a deer.
Yeah, you're not cute. You're not cute, Bo. You're very mean. You're very mean.
Anyway, what were you about to say?
Oh, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. I kind of lost my train of thought, to be honest.
Well, again, you can't lose what you never had. I feel like you in these podcasts, you just kind of wing it.
Yeah, it's usually the kind of podcast that I like to listen to. The ones where people just kind of BS and talk about whatever. But
yeah,
we gotta actually talk about.
I'm having fun with it.
Oh yeah. I just don't know how many people are gonna enjoy just watching us freaking run around hunt.
Oh, I'm still alive.
Yeah, you gotta finish it off, Bo. It might let you
Okay,
get your knife out and let you do it that way.
I'm gonna do this my way. And shepherds we shall be, for thee, my lord, for thee. Power hath ascended forth from thy hand. That our feet must oh, it died anyway.
That was actually pretty good. You got me with that one. I knew where you were going, but I didn't know you were gonna go there.
Yeah, I was gonna do the whole thing, but it just died anyway, so I guess it's pointless. And for those of you who don't recognize that, it's actually from the movie Boondock Saints.
So, what's your favorite movie?
Resident Evil by far. I love the Resident Evil series. Movies.
Which Resident Evil was your favorite? You didn't really narrow it down.
Probably Apocalypse, where they were Mila Jovovich fights the Nemesis.
Yeah, I never watched it, so I couldn't really speak to it.
Oh my god, Austin, you're really missing out. You gotta watch the Resident Evil movies.
The only one I ever watched, and it was like a laggy, really bad, I guess, disc of it, but was the one where it was like animated and they were in like the airport and
that's Resident Evil Degeneration.
Yeah, and then I watched that one. I just don't remember it really setting my world on fire, so I mean, I didn't really trip.
Well, no, because it's a friggin' animated. I mean, don't get me wrong, the animation ones aren't bad. Oh, there's 2 more deer up here. Oh, there's a whole flock of them up here.
What's your problem with animation? You got a problem with animation?
No.
That sounded like you threw some slight there. You're like, but
that's not for Resident Evil.
Oh, okay. He's like, well, that's just animation. I'm like, okay. What's wrong with that? I'm like, but yeah, I guess I get what you're saying. If some things just don't work, what were we talking about?
See, now we're the one getting distracted.
But yeah, I used to have a really weird relationship with movies. We were talking about movies.
Oh, got another deer.
For a long time, like, I just didn't get a lot of entertainment from movies. And I kind of, like, wrote them off as something that, like, I didn't do. I don't watch movies. Because I just kept on watching, like, bad ones, you know? Like, I found a lot of movies I didn't.
That's your fault. You gotta find good movies to watch.
Well,
things with, like, Bruce Willis, Sylvester Stallone...
Well, yeah,
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
That's what I'm saying. I just had a bad relationship with them because I just only dealt with the bad, you know?
Well, I'll try dealing with the good, and maybe you'll get something better for it.
Well, that's what I'm getting at, Wayne. I finally found, like, movies that speak to me, you know? And the first one...
Name one movie you like.
Logan. that
What the
was
hell's that about?
that was the movie that got me back into watching movies. That's what I was trying to get to. Like, I didn't watch movies for a long time until I watched Logan, because it kind of just opened my eyes. Like, oh my god, movies can actually speak to me and be good. And, like, for a long time they didn't do a lot for me, you know. Until you find one that's like speaking to you as like a film watcher.
You know one movie that really spoke to me because I'm a firefighter? Ladder 49. That was a tough movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically it tells the story of this like firemen. They go out on these calls. The guy gets married, has all these kids, whatever. He gets trapped into a building, and everybody's trying to get at him to get him out. He ends up dying, and then they had this big old funeral for him at the end of the movie.
Mm.
He like falls like 3 or 4 stories down, and they're all trying to talk to him and do it over the radio. He runs out of oxygen on his air tank. Yeah, it's a very real possibility. It's almost happened to me a couple times.
Yeah.
I mean, not falling through the roof, but being trapped in there without air.
But yeah, since I watched Logan, I got back into watching movies again, and I got introduced into a lot of new movies, and it's actually kind of helped me form like more of a creative mind, to be honest. Like, whenever
What's Logan even about?
That's Wolverine's last movie that was based on him as a character so far.
Oh.
And
Slow it down, wait for me, god dang it.
all right, it just hit a lot of story beats that I liked a lot. You know, whenever you watch new movies that like speak to you and like they're very creative, like you know, interesting ways of like making movies and whatever, it can influence.
I got him. Oh, I lost him.
But anyway, like, whenever you watch things like that, it can sometimes help. Will you quit it?
Yeah, I got a bow, I got a bow, I got a freaking bow. Hi. Ow! Don't shoot me.
Okay, now let me go freaking sell my freaking crap, you freaking jerk.
Yeah, okay. And that's how we drag a bow around on the ground, guys.
Yeah. I hope you all learned something really strong with that conversation we were having that got derailed like twice. Thank you.
Third time's a charm. I'll meet you in Valentine.
Dude, you got my guy covered in mud now. Like, that was just like the most rotten thing you could have done. Like, drag me through the muddiest of mud of the dirtiest of dirty towns. Like, thanks.
Oh, that's rough. You're welcome.
What inspires you?
Music. Easily music. Nothing feels as good as being able to play a song on the piano. Oh yeah, you know, listening to music is one thing, but when you can make music, that's a whole nother feeling.
I've tried creating music, and I do want to get back to it one day. But
I really want to get back to teaching you that "Leaves from the Vine" song.
yeah, for sure. I think like I'm a physically awkward person. If you didn't know, not just
I mean, you are tall and lanky.
Not just mentally awkward. I'm just kind of like physically like when I hold things weird, and when I write weird, and it's just everything about me is just awkward, and there ain't much I can do about it. It's just my body, and I think that's
basically.
I think this kind of makes things harder for me. But then again, I'm not trying to make excuses for it either. I was trying to talk about the movie thing earlier. Like, probably the one thing that inspires me the most is whenever I see like, actually not always just movies, but like YouTube content creators, when they do something like kind of outside the box and like creative, I'm like, ooh, okay, and that inspires me. Like, I want to do that. Like, you know, and like there was literally a guy on I think his channel's name is Real Pixels. He did a video on Red Dead 2 and literally got me into playing Red Dead 2 again, because the way he phrased things, the way he like his writing and his editing was really good, and it made me want to do a video on Red Dead 2. Like, it's just, when I see people doing things that, you know, are a little bit outside the box or well done, it inspires me that way. Like, and because I've been doing YouTube, I'm like, oh, I do YouTube on this small scale. I can do that too. And that just kind of gets my brain kind of tumbling around. Like, well, what can I do to make this unique and special? Blah, blah, blah. Like, it's just kind of like, that inspires me. Because it's not, it's not like, oh, I have to learn how to to write music, and I had to learn how to play this thing. Like I've already been doing the YouTube thing for a while. So
Did you notice what I did?
oh, of course I did. Go ahead and whistle for your horse so we don't get lost. But yeah, that's just kind of where I get my inspirations from, and like some movies too. Like certain movies kind of give me like ideas and such.
Yeah. Well, The Walking Dead's where I got my idea to write my zombie novel that I started like 8 years ago, and I'm only 14 pages into because I don't work on it very often.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna really announce much of it on YouTube, but the thing that I'm writing right now was mainly inspired from The Last of Us 2 and The Walking Dead Telltale games, actually. Like, it's kind of...
games really messed you up mentally.
Dude, they took me somewhere. They really took me somewhere. The Last of Us games and the Walking Dead ones, like, they both, like, they struck a nerve. They have really struck a nerve with me, and like I said before about being inspired, like...
I think I have one of the Last of Us games on my Steam.
Yeah, it's probably Last of Us 1, but yeah, whenever I start like combining like my inspirations, that's when I feel like I start to really jive well. Like when I start to combine things together, like the aspects of this and aspects of that, really does kind of, it makes me feel better about it. Like whenever I'm like writing or editing, I'm like, and I feel like I'm making something that's unique for me. It's like, I'm doing something unique. It kind of make...
one thing that I do, and it might seem stupid and like childish it seems, but I sometimes pretend that it's actually me in the scenario of my character because it helps me to immerse myself into the story a little bit more.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So like when my character dies, it's like simulating that I die. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, for sure. I'm with that. Yeah.
Because it makes me like be a little more careful about dying. It makes me bring my strategy out more.
I've always heard like a lot of times with like people like direct movies and like shows or whatever, there's always like a little part of them in their characters. Because where else would they drive their inspiration from? If they're
right.
Yeah, that's
it's almost like acting, right? So like you portray that character.
Yeah, that's definitely a common thing.
Now, people get really into it, though. They do like that LARPing, that live action role playing.
Yeah, the only LARPing I ever see is like people who are dressed up as like freaking Vikings and whatever. If I were to do that, I'd want to do it like a movie, like not like Vikings. Like that doesn't really interest me.
One Halloween, we had this one bar. It was called Tags. And they do all kinds of events. They even book like famous musicians, like really famous musicians like frickin' Green Day and all those other guys. Halloween, they had this thing called First Responders Night, where all the paramedics, EMTs, firefighters, police officers, blah blah, whatever, anybody emergency services, would go and do these fun houses and whatever. But people would dress up in like. Oh man, the weird came out of so many people, dude. Like this one lady had this pendulum thing, and she would flick it, and she would be like, "Well, do I spend money in this tent today?" Like it made the decisions for her. It would go like front to back for yes or side to side for no when she would flick it. She's like, I looked at my partner. I leaned over to him. He's like, yeah. I'm like, I wonder if she uses that thing to like treat patients. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I wonder if she flicks that fucking thing. And I was like, do I treat this patient? Oh, I think I'm getting a no.
That's funny.
And then some other dude was dressed up in like a Grim Reaper looking outfit. He's like, I will make it right with the gods. I'm like, oh my god, these people are supposed to be fucking responders? Seriously?
Yeah, there's this thing called detoxing, I've also realized that that's something that I need to do to like kind of forget about
work. I mean, don't get me wrong, I detox too, but my detox I don't make publicly weird.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
Like I don't put a Green Reaper outfit on and go walk through Walmart. Now, one of the things I did, and this is when before COVID became a really serious thing, was oh shit, I gotta put my controller in. So my buddy Andy put his kid in a hospital gown. We ran through Walmart. Or he ran into Walmart in a hospital gown and boxers. We ran in Class A hazmat suits because, we had access to them. For the fire, because they're usually in the fire trucks for, like, hazardous material calls. And his kid ran into Walmart, and like 5 minutes later, we came in behind him with those hazmat suits on, and we're like, where'd that little fucker go? And we chased him all the way out to the garden center and out those doors. People were just like, what the fuck?
Well, guys, I do believe we might have hit a bit of a stalemate on this podcast, but it was a nice catching up and doing a podcast. We might start doing more now that we're kind of getting into the groove of it again. Hopefully you all did like it. And if you all like the format, let us know, because we were kind of like twisting in the wind a little bit, but it's only because we're kind of rusty at the whole podcasting thing. But if you all liked it, obviously let us know. And if you didn't like it, we'll probably keep doing it anyway. But until next,
like it, don't watch it. That's all I can say about that.
Yeah, but until next time, we'll catch you later. Right, Wayne?
Oh, and don't forget to smash that like button, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Just make sure you don't do that to me.
Nelson's gay.
Just make sure you don't do that to me. Don't sub to this guy.
Do what to you?
Subscribe. Or what? I mean, frick. Why do you? You got me.
What are you trying to say?
No.
What are you trying to say right now?
I don't know. If you don't take me seriously at all ever, then that's your problem.